Well, good morning and welcome. Good morning. I don't know how you came in today, but I kind of came in like a snowball. You wake up at 9:30 and you're just like, oh, my car. Oh, my goodness. I wanted to start off also to say congratulations to Sarah and I as we had a beautiful baby boy this past Tuesday. Oh yeah, I just had to, oh man! It's good. So, yes, he is very wonderful and healthy, and through that whole entire process, you have all this pain and a little bit of happiness, and then a little bit of pain, and then you have just what the daily word is going to be. So we'll get to that. So I wanted to come here and say hello. Please say with me our vision statement. A world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening. And then please say with me our mission statement. Advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. Please say with me our values. Abundance, acceptance, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. We celebrate our children by saying together, Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. So today, March 12th, is Illuminate. I will welcome the light. Taking a moment to appreciate the beauty of a sunset and realize that in another part of the world, the first rays of a rising sun are bringing light to a morning sky. Whether I can see or not, the sun never stops shining. Somewhere, a new day is dawning. Much more brilliantly than the sun, the light of God, too, is always shining. Sometimes my thoughts may be so focused on challenging life situations that I do not sense the divine light. Then in a flash of insight, I experience again the illuminating presence that even in my darkest moments, it is near as my next thought. I affirm, let there be light. I breathe out frustration and worry. Breathing in, I am filled with the light of the truth that illuminates my mind and shining from within my heart. Then God said, let there be light. And there was light. And for me, there was light at the end of the birth. I cried. So it was amazing. right. Today, I'd like to introduce Sandra McKinney. Sandra served Unity Christ Center in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, as an ordained Unity minister for 13 years, retiring in 2016. Prior to ordination, she served 2 years at Silent Unity. Since retiring, she has been speaking at the Unity Centers in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Iowa, in person and also via Zoom. She also continues to enjoy officiating weddings, home blessings, baptisms, and celebrations of life. So welcome, Sandra.
Thank you very much. And I'll just need a thumbs up that everything's working okay. I appreciate being here via Zoom. It was actually just 3 years ago that we were all told to go to our homes and stay there. I think it was actually March 10th. And so that really began the increased use of this great thing we have now called Zoom. And so with weather becoming an issue, it was a little challenging for me to think about driving. So I would just like a thumbs up from somebody that this is coming through and everything's working okay.
Yay. Thumbs up.
Okay, great. I saw a thumb. We want to talk today about, and this was kind of a follow-up to looking at the 5 basic principles, that there's wanted to look at the history of the Unity movement. Thought that fit in here after looking at the principles. And one thing about Charles and Myrtle Fillmore's writings and their teachings is they never copyrighted anything that they put into print. It was Charles' belief that the material came through him, that it wasn't something that he created, and thus he didn't see a need to copyright. And I just really appreciate that about them. I know as anything he wrote you can find online and even print for yourself, although with the cost of paper and ink it's probably less expensive to go buy the book. But this is from his book, Talks on Truth. Pronounce every experience good and of God. And by that mental attitude, you will call forth only the good. That's really Unity's basic principle number 3, that our thoughts create our reality. And I was struck with how well the daily word reading fits into the topic and the writing that I came up with without having ever tried to put those together. But Fillmore's words are as relevant today as they were when they were written, perhaps even more so. The spiritual principles and the tools that Charles and Myrtle taught back then, they really serve us just as well today. So let us look at where the fundamental truths that are taught in New Thought came from. What inspired our New Thought leaders? Where did they get their ideas? So let's explore the connection between New Thought and the spiritual teachings throughout the ages. Unity is part of a movement that began in the late 1800s. It's called New Thought, but it's not new, and it's not anything that was really new at that time. In fact, New Thought is now being referred to as New Thought, New Wisdom. So why is New Thought called New Thought? A New Thought creates a new condition. And why does a new thought create a new condition? It's a belief system about becoming consciously connected with God, the creative force of all life. It's about living from that awareness that we are in divine partnership with God. And it's about moving into that space where we realize that life happens. It happens through us, not to us. And as we have an ability to shape our experiences, we are in divine partnership with God, the creative force of all life. We always are. Not because we realize it, but it's simply our spiritual truth. We too are creative beings. In fact, we create our lives through our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs, our attitudes, our values, our actions, and most importantly, our words. We create new conditions. And the moment we step on this path of awareness, it is a very important moment in the evolution of the soul. Growing in that awareness of our oneness with God. Waking up to our relationship with life. Realizing that life happens through me, not to me. You know, once these awarenesses have come, we simply can't go back. But the awareness, the deeply felt and regularly practiced awareness of being at one with the infinite, it has such potential, you can't imagine. Now, when we get it, when we really get it, this idea totally transforms our lives. Now, realizing we are spiritual beings having a human experience, it's a deeply profound realization. And if we apply these principles and sustain them over time, these things will be a result. Number one, you'll have a greater sense of freedom. Two, you'll have a growing sense of empowerment. And that can be elating, but also could be scary. Three, you'll have an abundance. Four, possibilities, circumstances, opportunities will occur. And five, you'll live with a sense of something greater that anchors you in times of fear. And yes, there still will be times of fear. But in doing this, you become what God intended you to be. You are created out of God's stuff. And it's your right, your responsibility, your privilege to discover who you are. Now, these ideas are not new, but they may be new to you. At least you may think they're new to you. They are as old as humanity. And for as long as humankind has been standing upright and asking questions such as, who am I? How does life work? The answers given by new thought have come forth. Now, there's a story of a soap manufacturer who was walking with a minister one day. The soap manufacturer said to the minister, you know, the truth you teach hasn't helped the world much. Look at all the hate, the illness, the poverty, and the war in the world. As they walked, they passed some children playing in the park who were getting quite dirty. And the minister said, well, I see this soap that you make has not really helped the world much in cleaning up its dirt and filth. The soap manufacturer replied, well, soap works only when you use it. To which the minister replied and said, just like the truth that I teach. It works when you use it. This is a very appropriate little story when we begin to talk about the things called personal responsibility. These concepts are the inner truth of most religions. They're not something the Fillmores made up. You may have heard these before and not really known that they are talking about your relationship to God and to life. So today I wanted to share some ancient beliefs that we teach in New Thought that support the idea that New Thought creates a new condition. And these are from the Bible. Proverbs 23:7 reads, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so he is." From Job 2:28, "You will decide upon a matter, and it will be established for you." From Matthew 9:29, "According to your faith will it be done unto you." And from Mark 11, "Therefore I say unto you, whatever things you ask for when you pray, believe that you have received them, and you will have them." From Philippians 4, "Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is gracious, if there is an excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things, and the God of peace will be with you." Those are all from the Judeo-Christian tradition. These ideas are also quite prevalent in the Eastern belief systems. Now, sometimes more clear and often more poetic than what we find in the Bible. Now, the Fillmores were known to invite many religious leaders from all over the world to Unity Village. And I think we see in some of Unity's teachings that influence. In an Eastern ancient text predating Christianity by a couple hundred years, an important scripture for Buddhists, really it's a text for how to lead to an awakened life. A collection of the teachings of Buddha, this idea of our relationship to life, is so important that this is how Buddha begins to teach. And I quote, "We are what we think. All that we are arises from our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Speak or act with a pure mind, and happiness will follow you." That's from the Buddha. Sounds very Unity to me. The Buddha tells us to speak or act with a pure mind, and that's how we will create happiness. A life-affirming mind, a mind that sees infinite possibilities. It's saying that's how happiness is created. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. It comes from our minds. In Taoism, also a very important work, the Tao, a book of how things work, is all about spiritual principles. It is equivalent to our idea of God, but not a personal thing. God would roughly be what we would call the creative God principle in Tao. The Tao would be what we call spiritual law. Their spiritual text says, and I quote, "This single principle can be found everywhere, all the time, because everything works according to it. And by knowing Tao, I know how things happen." In other words, by knowing my relationship to the infinite, by knowing that life operates by knowable spiritual laws, I discover how life works. Now, we are made in the image and likeness of God itself. we share in that eternal nature. These ideas began to seep into the American consciousness about 200 years ago, in a very big way, in the American Transcendentalist movement in the mid-19th century. Now, that movement was a precursor of New Thought. It kind of set the groundwork for the New Thought movement. This idea of our greater relationship with life was a theme. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, both writers that were instrumental in spreading these beliefs, these thoughts. So listen to this. As a man thinks, so is he. As a man chooses, so is he, and so is his nature. So what you think determines your choices. What you choose determines who you are and what life is to you. It starts there with your thoughts. There's a great poem that addresses this very idea. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. Watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. That's Henry David Thoreau. You know, both Thoreau and Emerson were writers that Charles Fillmore read, learning in reading the history of the Fillmores. So you know he was influenced by their writings. Now, the universe constantly and obediently answers to our conceptions. We might plug the word beliefs in there instead of conceptions. The universe constantly and obediently answers to our beliefs. But it's saying there's something about life that responds to our beliefs and our expectations. You know, the New Thought movement followed on the heels of those writings and has been built from the very beginning around those concepts. Again, from Charles Fillmore, God's greatest gift to man is the power of thought, through which he can incorporate into his consciousness the mind of God. In other words, this thing right here, the mind, pointing to the head, this thinking mechanism is the part of us that allows us to understand and embody this greater truth of life. What are we thinking? What are you focusing your attention on? In Unity, we teach the truth that we are each personally responsible for our relationship with God. There's no intermediator between us and God, no priest, no minister, no holy mother, no son through which we must go in order to connect with God. We teach that every living being has already established direct, personal, and intimate connection with God. Already there. But it's our responsibility to experience it. God does not force itself on us. Whenever, at any time, we can simply, through a desire, open ourselves. What if I told you that your every conflict, your every disappointment, your every struggle, your every challenge with others or yourself was merely a manifestation of what's going on within your own thinking? Would you go there first to mend, to fix it? Abraham Maslow studied high-functioning people in the 1970s. He found there were common denominations among his subjects who were living more fully. And among those common denominators were they all had a vision for their life. They were committed to that vision. And they took responsibility for the choices they made. So we're moving more and more into being those people as we take 100% responsibility for ourselves, for our joys, for our sadness, for our prosperity or even lack, for our health, for our illnesses. You know, when I worked at Silent Unity, majority of the calls, number one on the list, was always health-related issues. And I found in reading Myrtle Fillmore and how she addressed her health issues, and also another well-known author, Louise Hay. I use both of them anytime I have any kind of illness that comes upon me. You know, Myrtle Fillmore prayed to every cell in her body, asking for forgiveness for believing that she was anything less than perfect. Louise Hay has a great little handbook called Heal Your Body, which shows just about every ailment you could have physically, and the underlying emotional belief, which she believes is the cause. And Louise Hay also healed herself from cancer, and Myrtle healed herself from tuberculosis. So I see those two as good resources, and I go to them anytime a health issue comes along. Because it's important to really explore and identify that underlying emotional issue, which may be part of the cause that we're experiencing illness. So we are responsible, and if you dissect that word, responsibility, you find it really means the ability to respond. So how we choose to respond to what is put in front of us makes all the difference. So should you experience something less than what you desire, you have an opportunity to take responsibility for yourself by asking these three questions. What does this teach me about me? What can I learn about me and the world from this situation? And then how can I use this situation to grow? When you find the goodness and the gifts in all of life's situations, even the most difficult, the universe guarantees goodness and gifts. You know, I did have a handout I was going to share today. It does show a diagram of both the Eastern tradition and the New Thought movements and how they evolved over the years, and the people who were involved. I'll bring copies of that for y'all next time I'm there. So let this year, you know, we're still kind of in the beginning of the year, let this year be the year that we fully and completely embrace our spiritual growth and responsibility for our lives. And when we do, we will move ourselves and humankind forward on this upward spiritual path of evolution. New Thought, there's nothing new about New Thought. Thank you. Great to be with you today via Zoom.
I now invite you to begin to prepare yourself for a reflective personal prayer and guided musical meditation, after which I ask that you remain in essential silence during the music. If you choose to, you can close your eyes. Feel the weight of your body as it relaxes into the chair, as you let go of today's anxieties. Feel your feet on the solid earth as you let go of tomorrow's worries. Become aware of your breathing as you breathe in life and breathe out love. as you become centered, focus on your beautiful heart, your beautiful Christ self. Become filled with gratitude and allow into yourself that which fills you with peace and love. So we begin. Now I invite you to gently return to this place. Open your eyes in the spirit of peace and gratitude.
Right. Thank you for that. For a new dad, that's sleepy music. That's wonderful. Okay. All right. I would like to actually say this. Now we move from meditation to our affirmation of prosperity. This is the time when those of us who think of Unity of Appleton as our spiritual home practice putting spirit first in our financial life. When we do this, it prospers the spiritual community we love and supports our own spiritual growth and prosperity. Please connect with the guidance of Spirit in you and give whatever amount Spirit guides you to give. Whatever that amount is, take it in your hand and bless it with your love. If you are one of the many of us who give electronically, take the gift into your heart. Feel free to bless the plate as it passes by. Let yourself feel grateful to God in you as your one source. Then please join in our affirmation of prosperity. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of spirit and the flow of thine abundance, and are radiant with unlimited possibilities. Please say with me our celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love. I trust God as my source. We offer these gifts as symbols of endless blessing bestowed upon us. These offerings radiate the awesome lights and love with us, and they spread that light and love throughout all creation. And now we have the announcements. Ta-da! Please welcome Julia Thornell to the board. Oh, Julie Thornell. Okay, wonderful. Is she here today? No? Very cool. And we have The Untethered Soul, The Journey Behind Yourself. Book study group starts next Sunday, March 19th at 11:15 a.m. And this remarkable New York Times bestseller author, spiritual guide, Michael Singer, explores the fundamental question, who are we? Written in an engaging and uncomplicated voice, this book will open readers up to the radical, powerful experience of simply being themselves. Jay Kyle and Bedford Hines will lead this group that you may join at any time. Read and discuss the work together, covering about one chapter per week, expected to last about 4 to 5 months. The book may be ordered from your favorite book outlet for about $15. Limited books are available for purchase in class. And then we have the grown-up coloring party this Saturday. All right. Next Saturday, yes. Next Saturday. Come join Karen and Sophie for a time to relieve stress and have fun with friends. Coloring pages, colored pencils, and light snacks will be provided. Please bring your own beverage. Sign up at the Connect Insert paper. Yeah, it is a paper too. Back there. How can Unity support our wider community? have an event you want to promote, know an organization that needs volunteering, have an idea for the next SSAT event, talk with Luis and Bedford. Help put our values in action. And then we have gardeners. Please bring your green thumbs and ideas to join a planning committee for a new vegetable garden to be built in our west property using compost and lasagna garden method. The first meeting is March 26th at 9:15 a.m. in the upstairs boardroom. Sign up at the Connect and Serve table or talk with Fred Deppers or Linda Nett-Dusselhoft. The prayer group is asking for prayer requests. Requests can be submitted two ways: written and placed in the prayer box by the Connect and Serve table, or emailed at unityofappleton.org. Please submit first names only. And then please stand up and say our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God upholds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
We all need a little pick-me-up, so if you want to, yeah. Follow Carrie. Carrie's dancing in the aisles already. Go, Carrie. Found a way to be a better person.